This is the seventh reason in the 21-day Resiliency Series, where we are looking at personal reasons to embrace personal failure. We invite you to personalize it because at every step of your journey, you would need to embrace who you are. Your self-awareness will expand, will increase, and you would need to be comfortable with yourself. So we welcome you again. We thank you again for having told someone about us, for having subscribed, for having advertised for us. We thank you for that. And we ask that you will keep providing support to this conscious community. As we expand, as we grow, we know that you will benefit as well. So thank you again as we continue to journey from the locations where we have failed to not just where we will succeed, but to where we will thrive. Welcome to day 7 in the 21-day Resiliency Series. The 7th reason for embracing your personal failure is failure deepens empathy. Failure deepens empathy. Have you ever noticed how people who've been through a tough situation or persons who've been through the hardest of times often have the softest hearts? And by soft, I mean the most compassionate, the most welcoming hearts. It's almost like there is an enzyme in pain that breaks down hardship, or that breaks down toughness, that breaks something open inside of us. And from that crack, from that difficult experience, compassion begins to flow. When you have experienced failure, something you thought you couldn't live without, when life brings you to your knees, when life confronts you, when life stands up to you, when life forces you to consider who you are, your substance, your constitution, you begin to see people differently. Your worldview changes. You begin to understand life differently. You stop judging so quickly. You listen more deeply, more intently. You listen longer. You converse a lot more genuinely because you know what it is to feel broken. You know what it is to feel like a failure. You know what it is to fail. And that's the gift that comes with failure. The clarification, the humility, the understanding, the aha, the I now understand it, the transformation of individuals who've been through something, who now understand the pain of individuals, who can feel what others feel, who can experience change, the change to love, the change to lead, the change in how to live. Differences that begin to make life a lot more embracing of others, almost to say they begin to understand humanity. Before failure humbles us, we often think of ourselves differently. We often think that empathy is a nice idea, something that kind people do and not everyone should do. But when everything's going our way, it's easy to believe that we understand others even without walking down the road, even without wearing the shoes, even without drinking from the same cup or eating from the same plate, or experiencing circumstances that would help awaken us to their own experience. We say things like, they should try harder, they should work harder. Why can't they do better? Why won't they change their way around? Why won't they change the lifestyle around? Why won't they do better? And it's almost like we don't understand who they are, where they are in the situation, and we easily judge them because we don't understand them. But those types of words and statements come from a place of distance, a place of privilege, a lack of understanding. And then failure comes to us. The platform on which we stood to judge those others crumble. The job is lost. The house is lost. The car is lost. The image is gone. You are now wounded. The relationship is gone. The children are gone. The customers are not buying anymore. And suddenly empathy is born, not from theory, but from experience. That experience is what many individuals do not have. And because they lack it, they have not had it, they are not empathetic towards others. And so they believe that others are less than they are. Others are categorized in places and put in places that don't seem to be as meaningful as they would like to have themselves. Failure can be a bridge and not a barrier. Because here's the paradox. The very thing that isolates us, failure, connects us. Because when we have fallen, when we begin to recognize the quiet pain that exists in others, when we notice the hesitation in someone's smile, the exhaustion in their eyes, the weariness in their feet, the tiredness on their shoulders, we can sense someone who is being human. We can sense when someone is barely holding it together because we've been there. And not just that we have read it, but we've been there, we've lived it, we are living it, and we are a lot more empathetic. So failure changes our language, helps us develop a language for the suffering. Failure helps us understand the thoroughness of the suffering soul. It is no longer those who struggle. It is not them. It is now us. The us perspective builds a different community. The us perspectives create an avenue for success, creates the space where success can become a reality. And success now inspires not just those who were worse than us or those who were not trying, but even we ourselves. Again, like yesterday, even neuroscience agrees that empathy isn't just emotional, it's biological. So when we go through pain, our brain mirrors neurons, the same cells that help us feel others' emotions. They become a lot more responsive. We literally grow in our ability to understand and to relate to others with better understanding. We're better able to relate to others and understand their suffering because of our lived experiences. That's why people who have faced adversity often become the world's best healers, community advocates, teachers, counselors, leaders. They become the best voices for advocacy because they understand pain. The compassion isn't just theoretical, it's embodied, it's lived, it's part of the experience, it's now in their DNA. They felt the ache, so they know what it's like, or they've been in spaces where others would not recognize them, hear them, see them, and so they're better able to be empathetic. So failure does not just shape character, but it rewires our compassion for others. And that's what we are seeking to do in these 21 days, to help us personalize our failures and see how we can use them as fuel for our fire. If we are to give examples, professionals who have gone through difficult times, whether they be doctors, police officers, pastors, or whoever, whatever the profession, engineers, politicians, whoever they are, when they have been through a challenge, they treat people differently. Brilliant professionals, confident professionals, professionals who are proud that they don't make mistakes and that they haven't made mistakes, they don't make mistakes. And they treat people any and every how without precision. They have little patience. They see illness as sin. They see problems as sinful. They see people as needing to be categorized. They see people as less than them. And one day they fall sick. One day they are suddenly diagnosed, and they are forced to consider all of the descriptions, all of the categories that they have placed others in. Suddenly their identity changes. And months later, years later, they have to go to those very same individuals who did not appear to be resourceful enough or people enough, human enough to interact with. Failure makes a way for empathy. Failure deepens empathy. The illusion of superiority, the privileged positionality, we begin to lose that, and we get to understand that we share humanity. So we move away from the standpoint of seeing empathy as pitying others or feeling pity for others, and instead we understand empathy as a principle that is needed in human to human transaction. There's also the spiritual dimension of things here that I need to pay attention to. Suffering breaks our hearts open so that love can flow more freely, more deeply, and to a longer distance. So when everything is going on well, our hearts can easily harden. But when we are grieving, when we feel pain, when we have felt pain, when we feel powerless, that's when we begin to realize how fragile we are, how fragile life is. And I often say, the brevity of life. It's in moments of fragility, moments of brevity, that we awaken to the tenderness that is in us, that we don't like tapping into to help others access us, or to help others understand, for us to better understand the world of others. If you're from the Christian faith tradition, you would understand that Jesus himself wept. Jesus used examples of women, mothers, and fathers in how life is being handled. And I believe there's a major reason for that, because males and females, men and women, constitute the positions, the points from which all human beings come. Our wounds become more empathetic when empathy takes root in us. And it's only when God has used challenges, has permitted challenges, has orchestrated challenges, that we begin in our lives, that we begin to understand others differently. So how do we turn failure into empathy in our everyday life? What do we do? Now that we know that, what do we do? Well, here are three powerful ways we can do that. Number one, let your pain soften you and not harden you. When life hurts, it's tempting to shut down, to isolate, self-isolate, to get depressed. But when empathy grows, when we stay open, when we allow our pain to make us kind instead of bitter, we become more valuable to community, more accessible to others, and we are better able to connect. Number 2, we can listen without fixing. We can listen without fixing. When someone else is struggling, resist the urgent desire, that burning desire to give quick fixes. Sit with them. Let them know that you can see them, you can hear them, and let them know you can see, you can hear them, and you can still be quiet at the same time. Your presence means much, and it's one of the best recommendations, one of the best advices you can give, just your presence. Number 3, it is okay to use appropriate self-disclosure. It is okay to share your story, share your victories, share your triumphs, share the times when you failed, share your vulnerability, connect. Because empathy is not about weakness, it's about strength refined by struggle. So let others know that you too have struggled and that you sometimes do struggle. So the impression that you don't, let others know that if they think you don't, it's the wrong picture. When you get to that point, it's important to ask yourself the question, what is life teaching me, and what can I teach others from what I've learned from life? Your heartbreak, your vulnerabilities can be something that others can learn from. Your loss, whatever they are, they can be lesson books from which others can read, can learn the lessons that life would need them to have learned. So because we have been broken, it does not mean that the world is any different. It means that we now see the world differently. We now love more gently. We now love more quickly. We forgive more quickly. We embrace more soundly. And we speak with a lot more genuineness. We are a lot more genuine in how we approach life. That quiet courage that lie dormant in us now stands out, now stands beside others and calls others to our embrace, because we can now genuinely, in a wise way, in an unconditional way, embrace others because we have become kinder. Failure deepens our empathy. It expands our humanity and reminds us of a simple but very deep truth. We were never meant to go through life alone. We were never meant to go through life untouched by pain. We were meant to be transformed by it. So here is what I need us all to remember as we enter into this new day, this 7th day of this series. I need us all to remember that our greatest failures don't separate us. Our greatest failures, they don't separate us. Rather, they connect us. And through that connection, compassion is born. It is in compassion that we develop sympathy and empathy. It is through the experienced life that we are better able to understand others. It is through the experienced life that we become less theoretical and more practical. We are better able to connect at a deeper level because failure deepens empathy. We are grateful that you stopped by on day 7th. I did say in the promotion that this would not be a walk in the park. So even as you listen to the presentations, even as you seek to understand the messages, do something very important. Allow your failures at whatever points in your life, allow your failures to become the lesson books that can be used to propel you forward and not see them as the end of it all. We will see you again on day 8th. And remember, if you do like the content of our video, of our channel on a whole, we ask that you keep liking and that you subscribe if you haven't, and also share the content of our channel with others so that together we can move from the locations where we have failed to the locations where we will not just succeed, but where we will thrive. Looking forward to seeing you again.